The story of the Hebrew slave girl who helped Naaman, a Syrian military commander, is found in 2 Kings chapter verses 1 to 19. This young girl's faith and courage ultimately led Naaman to acknowledge the power of Jehovah. Below is a detailed verse-by-verse analysis based on the New World Translation of the Holy Scriptures. 2 Kings chapter 5 verse 1. Now Naaman, the army commander of the king of Syria, was a great man in the sight of his master and was held in esteem. For through him Jehovah had given victory to Syria. He was a mighty warrior, though he was a leper. Naaman, despite being a pagan general, had achieved victories with Jehovah's permission. However, his physical ailment, leprosy, was a serious condition that isolated him socially and spiritually. This sets the stage for God's deliverance through a humble servant. 2 Kings chapter 5 verse 2. On one of their raids, the Syrians took captive a young girl from the land of Israel, and she became a servant to Naaman's wife. This verse introduces the young Hebrew slave girl. Despite her circumstances, she remains faithful to Jehovah and becomes instrumental in bringing hope to her master. Her resilience and courage are noteworthy. 2 Kings chapter 5 verse 3, she said to her mistress, "If only my Lord would visit the prophet who is in Samaria, then he would cure him of his leprosy." The girl's confidence in Jehovah and his prophet Elisha stands out. Instead of being bitter about her captivity, she selflessly shares the hope of healing. Her faith shows that even a lowly servant can be used by God to achieve great things. 2 Kings chapter 5 verse 4. So he went and told his master, "This is what the girl from the land of Israel said." Naaman listens to the girl's advice, showing that her integrity and sincerity had earned her trust. This interaction reflects the impact of faithful behavior on others, even in adverse situations. 2 Kings chapter 5 verse 5. The king of Syria said, "Go now, and I will send a letter to the king of Israel." So he went, taking with him 10 talents of silver, 6,000 pieces of gold, and 10 changes of garments. The king of Syria acts on the recommendation, sending Naaman with an extravagant gift to secure healing. This emphasizes Naaman's desperation and the high value placed on potential remedies. 2 Kings chapter 5 verses 6-7. He brought the letter to the king of Israel, which read, "With this letter I am sending my servant Naaman to you, so that you may cure him of his leprosy." When the king of Israel read the letter, he ripped his garments and said, "Am I God to put to death and to keep alive? For this man is sending me someone to cure him of leprosy. You can clearly see that he is seeking a quarrel with me." The king of Israel misunderstands the situation, seeing it as a political trap. This highlights the difference between the faith of the young girl and the king's lack of reliance on Jehovah. 2 Kings chapter 5 verse 8. When Elisha, the man of the true God, heard that the king of Israel had ripped his garments, he sent this message to the king, "Why have you ripped your garments? Let him come to me, so that he will know that there is a prophet in Israel." Elisha steps in with confidence, ready to glorify Jehovah by demonstrating his power through a miraculous healing. This verse shows how God often uses his prophets to reveal his sovereignty. 2 Kings chapter 5 verses 9-10. So Naaman came with his horses and his war chariot and stood at the entrance of Elisha's house. However, Elisha sent a messenger to tell him, "Go, wash 7 times in the Jordan, and your flesh will be restored, and you will be clean." Elisha does not meet Naaman personally, emphasizing that it is Jehovah, not human intervention, that heals. The instruction to wash 7 times in the Jordan may have tested Naaman's humility and obedience. 2 Kings 5 verses 11-12. At this, Naaman became indignant and walked away, saying, "I thought he would come out to me and stand here and call on the name of Jehovah his God, and wave his hand over the affected area and cure the leprosy? Are not the Abana and the Pharpar, the rivers of Damascus, better than all the waters of Israel? Could I not wash in them and become clean?" And with that he turned and went away in a rage. Naaman's initial pride and anger reflect human tendencies to seek solutions on their own terms. However, Jehovah's ways often require humility and faith. 2 Kings chapter 5 verses 13-14. His servants approached him and said, "My father, if the prophet had asked you to do something difficult, would you not do it? How much more then when he says to you, 'Wash and be clean'?" At that he went down and dipped himself in the Jordan 7 times, just as the man of the true God had said. Then his flesh was restored like the flesh of a little child, and he became clean. Naaman's healing occurs when he humbly obeys. This illustrates the importance of submission to God's instructions, even when they seem simple or unconventional. 2 Kings chapter 5 verse 15. He returned to the man of the true God, he and all his entourage, and stood before him and said, "Now I know that there is no God anywhere in the earth but in Israel. Now accept, please, a gift from your servant." Naaman acknowledges Jehovah as the true God, demonstrating how miracles can lead to faith. However, Elisha's refusal to accept gifts emphasizes that God's blessings cannot be bought. 2 Kings chapter 5 verses 16-19. Elisha refuses Naaman's gift, and Naaman asks for 2 mule loads of Israelite soil to worship. Jehovah back in Syria, Elisha sends him away in peace, showing that God welcomes sincere worship even from those in foreign lands. Lessons from the Hebrew slave girl. 1. Faith and courage. Her unwavering trust in Jehovah and willingness to speak up made a significant impact. 2. Humility in service. She used her position to glorify God, not for personal gain. 3. Influence of a good witness. Her actions led to Naaman's healing and acknowledgement of Jehovah. Want to explore more inspiring Bible accounts? Watch other videos on my channel that uncover the wonders of Jehovah's power and his faithful servants.